Hello everybody, thanks for bearing with me. I was just finishing setting up, making sure my tablet was working and whatnot. But yeah, I can do art, I can code. Nice to see you in chat, Zar. I don't know how to say your name. I should have asked you while you were live. That was silly. But yes, Zardos, I do absolutely do art and game dev and a couple of other things. I can actually show you a couple things. Zar Dallas, got it. Zar Dallas. So we'll open up one of the games I'm working on here real quick, and then you can take a look at that. And the other thing I just noticed is I have Steam friends popping up with their full names there. I don't want that happening. So just give me 1 second to set that so it's not happening. Okay. I don't know how to do that. 1 sec, everybody. Honestly, we don't need Steam open right now anyway, so I'm just gonna close it. There we go, that should be fine. All right, yeah, multi-talented, thank you. Thank you very much, Zardalis. Yeah, so we're gonna do some artwork today. What's in the background there are some feathers that I've done previously. And I will pull up my portfolio here real quick as well. There we go. Just gotta open a couple things to get it going here. Great. Let's see, what's a really nice one? We'll show this one off here. So there's this. So this was one of my first feather projects. And we're gonna start a brand new one today and kind of redo these feathers and make them even nicer. And these wings. And then in... I still have my start screen going, don't I? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then we've got this as well, which is another thing that I did. So like top to bottom, I can do everything. Modeling, VFX, grooming, everything. But yeah, all right. So we'll flip over here to my game dev one. And we're gonna hide the notepad for today. There we go. Minimize that, minimize that. This is the wrong file, isn't it? Yes, it is. Close that. Yeah, I'll show you a quick rundown of the game though here that I am currently working on. I have a couple in the process currently, but this is the one that is getting close to release. And it's kind of similar to Brotato or like Vampire Survivors and the like. So yeah, thank you. I am happy to know that people like my work. It's always nice to hear. So it'll be this one. So we'll get this open and then we'll get going here. But yeah, so this is my original one. Hey VDF, how are you doing today? VDF is my oh so lovely moderator. We're doing some art, and then in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, we're gonna switch over to some stationeers. But yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna redo these feathers. They're okay, but there's lots of like little issues with them. So we're gonna redo it. But I do enjoy some 2D games. I'm not like, I'm definitely not obsessive about them the same way I get with like 3D. I would say the closest to being obsessive with 3D with a 2D game as I am with a 3D is something like Vampire Survivors, Brotato, Astronauts, a couple of those things. So this is still very gray boxy, right? But you know, we've got a couple different enemy types going on. We have a couple of different level ups for you at this point, some pickups. Come on, let's go. There we go. And then like we just started setting this part up the other day on stream. So this is like one of the towers, and there's going to be chests that can come up in that tower, and you're gonna have to use currency to like open different bridges and different ramps like this. Yeah, I don't actually know what the last version you played there was, VDF, but yeah, it's coming along quite a bit. So you've got like these different bridges that can open and close, and then if we come over here, this is still very much a testing level, right? So like you can open and close different fences. Oh, 0.02? Yeah, I think we're at 1.4 or 1.5. I think I'm working on 1.5 right now. And then down here, this is where one of the chests will pop up as well. And you can see the AI needs a little bit of work. And one of the other things that still needs work is setting up the drop. So like, if you drop all of this, you should take damage. And the AI will never jump down far enough that it will do damage to itself. But yeah. So that is an overview of one of the games I'm working on, but that is not what we're doing today. We're going to do this, basically, again, but make them much prettier. So this is Houdini, which is a procedurally generated program. So it is absolutely lovely. It's used in high-end movies and games for a couple of different things. So like we can look at this network here is just for this one feather, right? So what I did is you start with this curve, right? And this one curve dictates what the shape of this feather is going to look like. And then you add the barbs onto it to start like shaping the feather. And then you get the full shape here, and then you get a template thrown over top, which basically derives all of those points that you draw, and then you get this feather. And then you can get a visualization of it, and then you can start adding some noise to it. And that noise starts allowing you to do things like that, where you can see now it's like clumping, and you're getting these little broken bits and pieces all in it, and then you can apply more noise so that then you start getting like this 3D shape to it. But there's a whole bunch of issues with these the way that I did them the first time, that I'm going to take a whole bunch of my knowledge from doing it the first time, and now we're going to redo it and make a much nicer set. So, and we're going to do it top to bottom on in Houdini today. So we're gonna open it up, and while we're waiting for it to open, we're gonna grab our reference, because Houdini does take a moment to open. It is oh good, it's already preloaded most of the stuff because we already have it open in another spot. There we go, that should be our reference. So just so everybody knows kind of like what we're looking at here, so these are references. Any artist will tell you they work off of a ton of references. So this is coming from a free source. They are the actual feathers of what's called a Saker falcon, a particular kind of falcon, that we're going to be building while making the wings and feathers off of, and then we'll animate it later as well. But these are all the primary feathers. So these are like the primary flight feathers, how the wing kind of goes together. And then these are the secondary feathers. So some of these are, again, part of the wing, and then this is the tail here, and these are some of the body feathers. And you can see they have a lot more of an arch, and these arches are to get around like different parts of the body of the bird. And it's the same thing with this one. You can see like some of these sharper ones. Some of these are face, some of them are belly. These are the down ones here. These are the primary flight ones. And these, I believe, are also flight feathers by the way that I'm looking at it, but they may not be. But that is why we have this. So when you're looking at it, all of the pink is primaries, all of the purple are the secondaries. And then looking at the shape of the wing, you can see the primaries here with secondaries over top. And it's just super cool. And then that's the shape of the wing, of course. But we're not going to be looking too much at shape today. The primary thing we're going to be looking at is the actual feathers, because we're going to need all of these feathers to be able to do the wing properly, or almost all of them anyway. And there we go. So what I'll do, by the way, just because you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing exactly, I have too many screens to show everything, is I'm going to have my reference, which is this one, off to the side. And that'll just inform me all of the time. And the other thing I'm going to open up, I think it's in my Pure Ref. It's been a while since I've used this one. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Wings Pure. There we go. So you can see I have some more references here, and my references, I always keep them close at hand. So this is actually like how the wing works for when we go to build the wing. This is unfortunately a dead bird. But you can see like we've got our reference here for like, okay, this is the shape of them. We can see how like the feathers are not all perfect, right? They have this kind of funky edge to them. And that's from the feather actually like getting damaged through the bird's life and whatnot. And then, you know, just a couple of other really good images to see like, okay, what are we looking at when we're doing this, right? And so this one is a different version of the Saker, but it's still giving us like the same coloring, the same details, all of those good things, right? And you can see it's actually lettered. I do have other references for this. I have about 100 odd references, and I used to be a falconer who actually had a Saker falcon at one point. So I've had lots of hands-on experience with them, which really does help. And then we have some other references here, because if you've seen the portfolio piece, you'll know we took that wing set, and my falcon was called Felix. Felix the Falcon. I do have a picture of him somewhere. But I typically will take these wings after I've made them and start applying them to, you know, a person like this. Or, okay, let's try it like adding it onto a hippogriff or something else, right? I find doing the wings separate from the model really, really helps me kind of get the shape down first. And then I can come back to the actual character and finish working on that character. But yeah, Felix. His name was Felix. I will try and find a photo for next time. I'm not sure where it is right now. Just grab OBS here. Great. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is make sure we're set up in the way that I want to be, and I don't think we are. But yeah, because we don't need our geometry. No, we're gonna need our geometry spreadsheet. OBJ, good. And first thing we're gonna do is go ahead, set up a new project. New project is always our first thing. And we're gonna go into our C drive. And we're gonna make a new project just in Houdini in general. And the project name, we're gonna call it Wings 001. We need our geo, which is geometry, HDAs. We probably won't need, we will definitely need our simulation ones. Won't need alembics, will need textures. Renders, flips, scripts we'll probably end up using later, but we don't need them right now. Composites we won't, audio no, video no, and desktops we'll hold on to for now. Great. So that's done. Next, we're going to make sure our project is set properly. Where is it? Wings 001. Great. And then just because there was just a new update, I just want to make sure a couple of different things haven't moved on me. Oh, I love ferrets. Ferrets are so fun. Exotics are fun. And Zardalis, you won't know this because you're a brand new follower, but I used to have a farm too, actually, with horses, cattle, pigs, chickens, lots of different things. Literally, we just had like a new update, so I'm just double checking things before I jump in here. I just don't want to like get surprised by them changing something on me. Okay, there's our Go Zed. Good. Doesn't look like it got broken, which is nice. And then something I always do is, oh, I do not like that one, is whenever I'm modeling or I am doing a character or anything pretty much, I do like having their simple models out, or sometimes I'll grab a test geometry. And I think I'm gonna grab a test geometry for today. Test, geo, and I usually use the capybara, to be honest. And, whoops. That was a tasty pig. Oh yeah, you've had some, yeah. So the reason I like having the capybara is no, I don't want to show you. Okay, you've changed a couple things on me. And that is fine-ish. So the reason I like to have it is size. I know the capybara is about 6 inches, not 6 inches, about 6 feet. So that works for us. Fantastic. So polygon, and then we're going to set up, if I can remember, I think it's Control D. Nope, it is not Control D. I only have to do this once every project, so half the time I forget how to do it. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Not the viewports. Okay. Top view, great. And actually, you know what? We're not going to need the capybara right now, so we're just going to go ahead and hide it. But what we're trying to do, and I'm desperately trying to remember how to do, and I'm going to have to Google it. I am going to have to Google it. How to set up a reference image in Houdini, because it has been a hot minute since I've done this. Oh, it is literally just D, not Control D, just D. There we go. Okay, so we need to go to background. We need to make sure that our image offset never changes. Otherwise, we end up with really big issues down the line. And we're gonna grab, yeah, okay. So you get this lovely file called job when you start a new file, like a new project here, like we've done, and it holds on to absolutely everything for you. Okay, so that doesn't work for this program, which is fine. What we're doing is we're taking some of our reference images and we're bringing them into our files, our reference files for the project. That way we can have them in the background, because we're going to be doing some tracing and using the color for the feathers is one of the primary ways to do feathers. Otherwise, you end up in absolute hell of trying to replicate those feather colors. And it comes from the US Wildlife Resources. There's our reference, there's our image, great. Where are you? I do not see you. Ah, it's because your image scale. All right. So, why are you being a pain? Fit mode, we do not want you to scale. So I'll just make sure that these images aren't changing too much on us. Why do you do this to me? Okay, vertical. Yeah, you're still scaling with us. We don't want you to scale. Okay, if you're gonna be that way, there is another way we can do this. And we don't want to apply it to all views is the other important thing too. Setting up things. Why won't you let me change you? No, I don't want to rotoscope you. I just want you to be placed. Okay. Aha! You are working. Oh. Twitch chat doesn't like VPN. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry, everybody, while I finish setting this up because it is just absolutely one of the most important things to get right. And since it doesn't want to work, we're going to do it a different way. There we go. So we can do it like this. Image. Okay, you don't want to do it that way. We'll go like this. We should be able to do file, and we should be able to just bring in our image. Cancel. Cancel. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Oh. Gotta love it when tools don't want to cooperate the way that you used to do things. Okay, we'll try it slightly different. Yeah, seriously, it really isn't a proper update unless they make everything painful. Okay, so let's try. No. Oh my god. Control 1, 2. Okay. You are sort of working now. Offset. Is my numlock not on? Is that my problem? Oh my god. Is my numlock the entire problem? Holy. That's embarrassing. So that is highly embarrassing. Let's try 0.5 here. And we're gonna go opacity like 0.75. And we do not want it displayed like that. We do not need the light. Yeah, VDF. Yeah, not a problem, Zardalis. Not a problem at all. If you gotta run, go ahead. Apply zoom to background. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, because we're split. We're on a split view. Okay. No. Just give me back my regular view, please. Please give me back my regular view. Yeah. Okay. Bring you down. And we're just gonna close you because you want to be that much of a pain. There we go, scene view. Running is the last thing I want to do. I want to sleep. That's fair. I've had the worst bout of insomnia. Ouch. Oh yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. Do what you need to do. Do not worry about it in the slightest. Especially because apparently things do not want to quite cooperate at the moment. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go Control 2. Nope. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And then if I go 2, there's our top viewport. Fantastic. Relearning shortcuts, so fun. It makes me happy. There we go. There, and it's not scaling, it's sitting properly. And do we want to work at that kind of scale? The answer is yes, because we don't want to screw with anything. So there's one image. And then the other one we need to do. How did I do this before? I think I stacked them and then brought them both in. Yeah, okay, so I just did one, then I did the other one. Great, so now that we've got that done, we're gonna close this. We're going to come in a little bit, and this is our Geo one. We're gonna make sure that we do this properly. Gear Atlas 1. We're just gonna call it Gear Atlas for now. that works. Great. Where did I put my pen down? I just had my pen. Like, just had it. How did I manage to lose it? Sorry everyone, just looking for my tablet pen here. Because this next part involves about 300 to 400 clicks, and I can't do it without my hand screaming at me. Let's see, where did I put that pen? Auto clicker. Sounds like quitter talk. Well, you know, I don't like carpal tunnel, and trust me when I say that this is basically a faster to carpal tunnel without this pen. I literally had it like 2 minutes ago. That's fun. That is my bad pen. You thought it was a carpal tunnel speed run. Honestly, doing feathers is. It really is. Even with using the pen, it's still a friggin' carpal tunnel speed run. Okay, so I have no idea where my good pen is, so hopefully this pen will be fine. It's my backup one. I do have a couple of tablets, as any good visual artist typically does. Great. It is not behind my ear, but that is something I would do. So thank you. It is almost certainly underneath something really obvious on my desk, because I couldn't find my glove earlier, and I'm sure I put my glove, I put my glove on, but I don't know where I put my pen down. Okay. But my oh so lovely partner is going to give me a hand here. Do you see it? Because this is the other one. You remember when I said, here's two? If you can't find it, don't worry about it. This one's working, so I think we'll just do a proper cleanup of the desk and find it later. I have literally lost my glasses on my forehead before. Or like on the front of my shirt is the other place that I'll lose my glasses occasionally. But I'm not immediately blind, at least, because my partner also doesn't see it. So that makes me feel a little bit better about my life.
That's it?
Yeah, if you can't find it, don't worry about it.
Dog helping too.
Yes, hello, Cleo. Yeah, we'll find it later. This one's working. It's just, I don't like the feel of it the same way. The weight's a little off, that's all. Oh my god, yes. You found it. You found it. It was on top of the keyboard, everybody.
Under.
Well, like, it was behind it. It fell off the top of the keyboard, which is probably why... Love you too, honey. I probably what I did is I put my pen down on my num key, turning the num key off, and then the pen fell behind the keyboard. Because I am so silly like that. Okay. So, let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and... we need feather shape organizer, I believe is the correct one. Nope. That's not our correct one. Feather prim? Nope. They've changed some names on me. Yeah, have a good sleep there, Zara, for sure. And we will figure out the stationary stuff another time for sure. Feather. Template from shape, that's it. Nope. Oh my god. Feather shape org. Feather. We're just gonna run through a couple of these feather ones here, because they have definitely changed a couple of things. Like, it's fine. I can start without the full template here. I know how to do it. I've done it I don't know how many times, but yeah, interesting. Okay, so basically what this does is it's going to give us a really nice feather shape by using a couple of curves. And basically it goes like this. You have your two different curves feeding into it, and then you can label your points and whatnot. But curve 1 is going to be your primary like feather shape, and then curve 2 is your barbs and everything. But since we don't have, since we do not have a shortcut to set that up, because there used to be a shortcut to get this whole thing just taken care of in one go, but it seems it's gone. We're just gonna have an extra one here so that we can drag off it whenever we want. Okay, so we'll grab our curve 1. We're gonna change it. We don't want it to be a polygon. We actually want it to be a NURBS curve, or was it Bezier? What did I do? I think I used NURBS. Nope, I did use Bezier's, which makes sense. Like, it's just different ways to draw your points out so that things snap better and it looks nicer. Yeah, we may change some of this, but we'll see. And our order for 4 should be fine. And we really do want to get rid of this panel. Close it, because we want to maximize this space right here. Now, if I remember right, because it's been a hot minute, the way we're gonna do this is we want to start on the center piece, and then we do the two sides. If I remember right. But we'll find out in a couple of moments if I remember correctly. So, make sure we have everything selected, and then we need our little tab over here. And it's not going to be that. It's not secure selection. It's not select. We actually want to be in draw mode. And to do that, we do not want those. This should be moving things, rotating things, scaling, animate. No, animate is definitely the wrong button. There we go. Great. So, whoops. Just testing my pen here and I made a mistake there. Okay, so no, not pivots. No. Curve tool. Yeah, there we go. And shift F1. There we go. Okay, so insert a point is control. Okay, shift. Draw arc segment is holding A. Show radials. Okay, so basically that is our first point. And then we're basically setting this up to curve. And you want about 6 max. And I think I typically try for 4, to be honest. But some of them need more. And then when we're done, it should be center button. And then we're gonna go. Are we on Bezier? Yeah, we are. Okay. Yeah, because we can move our points afterwards. And then we should be able to round these out. And this is what I was talking about, being able to see fully so that you don't have to do this. And then, no. Come on, give me the, oh, no. Should be center button. There we go. And we're just gonna make sure that we actually had a curve going on, because these don't look properly curved to me at the moment. Like the way that I would normally expect them to curve out. No. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's our first one, but we're not getting the curve that I thought we would get. So I'm not sure why, so give me 1 second to give it a, no. Yeah, holding A may have been what we needed to do there. We're just gonna test something here real quick. Yep, should have pressed A for all of them. Dang. So we'll go back, redo that. Been a hot minute since I've done some feathers. So we will just reset. Big part of 3D art and art in general is being willing to redo it. Okay, so we'll start our point there. And then, there we go. Okay, so you can be straight to there. And then, can I get you to curve really nicely all the way along? No. There we go. Not quite. Much better. Come on. There we go. Much nicer. Nice curve there now. And then we will start one here. Come on. Okay, so I think there's another way we can make this one curved though. We're just gonna give it a quick try. Where's our points? There we go. And then if we just go like this, will you curve for me? No. Nope. Yep, that's it. Goodness. There. Much nicer. The relearning of software when you haven't done something in a couple of months, plus they do some updates, is always fun. There. Great. Then we'll take this. And then these are always a little funky when it has the notch out of it like that. There we go. Great, so it is auto Bezier mode. Come over to curve 2. And then this is to show where your curves, not curves, your barbs go. And barbs are like what you think of almost as like the softer parts. And those aren't going down in a Bezier for some reason. So we're just going to try it a little different. Oh, it's because we're on polygon, not Bezier curve. There we go. Important to set those up properly. There we go. And you want to look for those like lines where you can see the little parts of the barbs. And then it's starting to change, so you want to make sure that you have it going properly with the change. And so that should work for our first one. So we will come over here, and so now you can see we have all our feather bits and pieces set up. And now we're going to grab our template. Come on, you can do it. Computer, come on. Oh, that's how it gives it to you. Template from shape gives you all of the other ones first. I see. Let's go back to... Yeah, see, okay. So you can see, like, this is what the base does with no barbs, right? So if we just go ahead and we're just gonna move this over here, Bezier curve, and they have it in select mode. Interesting. Okay, so if we go like this, you're not going to zoom out for us. Or did we do something wrong? Did I do something wrong again? Do they have them closed off now? No, no. They're just close to each other. Okay. Okay. It's probably our barb density that's off. So 2. Yeah, there we go. There it is. I just didn't zoom out far enough. So there is our lovely feather currently. So far. Oh, I love doing this. I love the feathers so much. And so you can see, like, we're going to start playing with some of these values shortly, and it's just going to change it so much. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and go feather visualize. So we'll grab one of these, and this is so that you can see different parts of the feather more easily. And so it's going to get the feather in. Great. And so you can see just the surface alone. You can set it up to hide everything other than the actual piece of the feather down the main part of it. And then, of course, all the curves. So we're going to start on curve for a second, leave it there. And then we're going to start adding some feather noise and whatnot. Feather noise. And then you want to clump second usually, and then you're going to go back to a noise afterwards. And this, whoops. This just starts letting you do lots of really nice different bits and pieces. And the other thing we're going to need in here is a bend, of course, because feathers are not straight. They don't like lay flat, right? They have quite a bend in the middle of them, so we're going to need a lot of different things here for it. And then, do we want to do a full uncondense? Yeah, probably. Feather uncondense. Feather match uncondense. And then I think that is most of what we need. Not the de-intersect, that is for a different part. Minimum distance, no. Resample, no, 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 no. Okay, so this is what we're gonna need primarily. And what we're gonna do as well is we're going to go back into our top mode. Whoops, not top mode. Do that constantly. There we go. So when you zoom out, you can kind of see the color coming through a bit better. And then we want to think about, like, when we look at these feathers, what do we see, right? Like, we see some damage, like right here. So we want to make sure that our feather is not perfect and uniform, because that's what's happening right now, right? And we do want to check our direction of our barbs. You can see the barbs here, they're really fine, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to our template here and profile from shape, barb on start, with root and tip root. These can be really impactful. And you want to know kind of your widths and whatnot from the bird that you're working on or what you're trying to get the look for. And you can see we have some weird like stuff going on with some of those barbs. You can see like these weird bends and whatnot, and we need to fix that. And so shaft density, so shaft is your center part here, and it's how many points along it do you want? And we really do just want 1 for now is fine. Barb density is the number of barbs. So if we just go down to like 50, for example, right? You can see like there's a lot less here now, and there's a lot more space between them. And we're gonna go ahead and go back into perspective for a second, just because I feel like I don't trust the direction that some of these barbs are flowing. This is good. And you can see like these lines, and for anyone who's ever seen my workspace or has seen me with the video on in stream, you'll notice that my workspace is really dark most of the time. And I have a lot of artificial light instead. And it's because I like to have yellow light when I'm working. It's a lot easier on my eyes when I'm looking at stuff like this, because you can see these barbs, they're going really sharp this way, right? Which is how they should be going. I'm like 99% sure. This is why I have a million references. Like, this is what I'm looking at right now on my other screen, is like, okay, so what are we looking here at, right? Like, how tight are these pieces? How thick are they? And no feather has the same tip width as it does shaft width. So we're gonna bring our root, we're gonna leave our root alone, and we're gonna bring our width tip down to like 0.02, and you can see like right away it makes a big difference. You can just see how much cleaner it is and how much smaller they become. And I think we may actually do a couple of other things as well, because when I do this with the really high quality feathers, I usually come up to like 1,000 barb density. Something like this is just not enough. So if we bring it up to like 1,000, it's gonna take a second to load here, but you'll see the difference right away. It's gonna take a second to cook. There it is. So you see it's a lot more like a knife in a solid surface, which is factual for things like falcons. They do have a lot more of a shiny surface to them and a lot sharper. Not that this is textured yet, and like honestly, we haven't even finished doing our, there's so much to do. So if we come back to 50, barb segments, so this is how like bendy it can be. And I do like playing with it, seeing like for each feather individually, like how much should we really be looking at for it? If we're going high quality like we're aiming for right now. And usually I go to 6, but I think we're gonna work at 4 for the moment. And we'll see what we can do with some of our other bits and pieces. So we're gonna take our bend here, there we go, and we're gonna plug it in, and we're gonna take a look at it. Whoops. And we're gonna zoom out and just check something here real quick, because the likelihood is that bend is trying to apply over there. It almost always is. And just to do a quick check, oh, it isn't. It actually went down where it's supposed to. I am so impressed. Okay. So we'll go ahead, throw our bend angle to 0, and our length, scale, deform, yep. What we want is to actually set our capture region. And our capture region is going to basically be, is it gonna let us do a curve? Because no, I didn't think so. Okay. So you can see the capture region is kind of outlined here, right? And how are we gonna bend this? Because bending it here is definitely easier than bending it later. And I think we'll probably end up doing a twist to it, not just a bend. So we'll set our capture region. We are just gonna do it from about 3/4, little more than 3/4 up the shaft before there's feathers. And then we'll do it directly to the end of the shaft. And now you can see it bending, right? And that's amazing. And we want to bend it down ever so slightly because there is just this slightest bend down on primaries. And it looks like we're not at a perfect angle either, which is probably a good thing. But we definitely don't want all these different angles. We want this to be straight when it does it. But doing it like that is not how we want it to work. So you bent properly, kind of. Okay, capture origin is -33, -9. Oh, it's because I played with the origin, not the direction when I did that. Okay, so we want this direction to probably be 0. This one is going to be 1. And this is now going to be -0.5. And that gets us that nice curve. And that is very exaggerated at the moment. Our bend angle, realistically, for a feather, you don't want to do too much. Like -2 is probably not quite enough. Looking at it, let's try 5, 7. 7 is probably about right. No, it's gonna be a little less even than that. It's gonna be like -5. A little less. And we're gonna try bringing our capture length just because I like that amount and I like our number. I just want to pull our no. Length scale is not what we want. Taper is not what we want. If we change our vector, no. See, we do want the bend there. I just don't think we want it quite so much at the tip. We could just reset our nope. Yeah, we're just gonna reset our capture region. And we're not gonna do it quite to the tip. We're gonna try it like that. Yeah, see, that just feels better. There's still the bend all the way along here, but it's not quite so severe. Yeah, see? Doesn't bend that tip quite so much, which is what we want. So we'll bring this to like 3.5, -3.5, and that just feels better. A lot of this stuff with with feathers and with more organic than a lot of like hard surface modeling and the like is a lot of feel. Like, how does this feel? And so I like that feel of the bend. Great. So now that we've got the bend, taken care of, we're gonna grab our feather noise, the first one here. Let it compute, because it's got some like base stuff that it wants to apply to it first. And this is how we make it start to look like a real feather opposed to this like perfect shape. Okay, and we're gonna do a quick save because these get, well, best way to say it is it can definitely just crash your computer. Okay, so where do we want to start? We probably want to start with a bit higher amplitude, to be honest. And you can see like that amplitude, we've just added this like nice ruffle into the entire feather, right? So amplitude is going to change our waviness of how flat is this particular feather, right? And you'll notice there's lots of different settings over here that I'm not using at the moment. And it's because we don't really want to use them too much. Sometimes if you're doing like not a high quality piece, you will use it, and you just set it up basically for a whole bunch of procedurally generated items. So this is our normal, which way do we want it to actually like bump? And we don't want it all the way up to a 1. We actually want it to come down a little bit because we really do want it to be mostly smooth in this direction. But we do want a little stronger of a bump. We just don't want them super wavy. So let's bring our tangent and the bitangent down. And we're going to take the shaft offset and bring it up. Our fall off is going to come down a little bit. Our frequency is going to come up. And basically you can start to see there's some noise happening here, right? Like we're starting to get some crosses of pieces of those barbs. We're getting this separation because of the waves and clumping a little bit because of the waves. And this will change a lot shortly here. And then, so now you can see we are changing the direction of, not the direction, but how much the barbs are actually being impacted by this noise. Because the normal tangent and bitangent actually gives us control over, is it going up and down, or are we kind of making them clump a little bit? And you can see we've got this ruffled little edge going on now, which is great. It starts to make the feather look less uniform and less normal. And let's grab this fall off. Yeah, we're doing just barely anything with it. And we're going to bring our shaft frequency down just a touch, so we still have those little bits. Barb frequency, yeah, we don't need that part of it. That was our first feather noise, and now we're going to grab a clump. And this is going to be fun. And now you can see like we're really getting some cool tooling going on. You can see the barbs just clump into these big sections. And we're gonna pull this frequency right, is it the other way? Yeah, it's the other way. So if you want some clumping, you can see like we've started to get this kind of effect almost of when you get a feather really wet, right? And you know, it's definitely a good look for certain things. Not what we're aiming for right now, but it is really cool in my opinion. So what we'll do is we'll pull it up to a little bit of a higher frequency, Because again, like the way a bird of prey's feather, especially a falcon's feather, looks is a lot different than many others. And we're going to try and focus on some clumping here, and we're going to do some weird things here to make it look a little different too. And let's just take a look at our over top one here again. I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. So you can see like there's some clumping here that's a little bit cool. And there's a couple of like sharp edges here, and maybe we want to clean that edge up, bring it in a little bit. And then we've got some weirdness going on up here, which is totally normal at the ends of these, and we're gonna have to clean it up. So what we'll do is we're going to do a little bit more just playing with this for a sec and see where our happy spot is, because I have a feeling we're going to want it fairly high. And then we're going to use our amount of clumping. So you can see that kind of opens it up, closes it. And let's take a look, because we're going to aim to get it kind of right here, some clump. So this is the actual amount of clumping. So you can see the barbs almost disappear, and we don't want that. We want them with little spaces. And then we'll bring that down. And this is the split depth. So you can bring this all the way up or down, and you can actually see where those barbs kind of like become clumped or stop being clumped. And again, birds of prey, you really don't want them too deep. You only want them just inside. And then this is for the shift. So this is how you can actually move it up and down. And then you can set up attributes, change them later. You can see we've got like some right here that's a really good clump. So we're gonna shift it just a bit. And then you can see we can change our seed too, which always is nice. And then grab our, probably want the uncondensed for this, to be honest. Okay, there's our uncondensed. You gonna give me a nice UV? No, you're not. That's not what I want right now. So we'll go like that. And we're going to probably bring our shaft number up so that we can get a better idea of what it's actually going to look like. Yeah, that's definitely what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring our shaft number up because we need to get it a better view of what our clump's actually gonna be. So that means feather template from shape, and we're gonna bring this up to like 600. And we'll start there and then probably even bring it up to 1,000 pretty quick. And it looks like we're gonna have to move one of our main curves probably slightly in. Yeah, see, I don't like this. I like that, but I don't like this. There's parts of it I don't like, which is fine. Basically what we can do is we can come over to our curve here, look at it this way, and then we're going to just move some of these points, basically.
You felt vibration just now? Was vibration upstairs?
And in about 10-15, we're going to switch over to some oh so lovely stationeers, by the way, and keep working on that rocket. Whoops. There we go. we're gonna move them, make sure that's set up. Okay, shift, drag, entire curve. Yeah, that's what I thought, shift and drag. Okay, so you can see we're just resizing this Bezier curve. Because we don't want it to actually connect. You start to run into issues if you connect those two at the top. But we do want to kind of bring this in a little bit, because if we don't, then when we're texturing later, we'll get some really ickiness going on. Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna need to add another point in right here. So we're gonna do that right there, and then probably another one here. And that'll just help kind of guide things a little bit better. Oh, cool, VDF. Have a good one. Thanks for being in chat. Nice to have you back. Missed my moderator a little bit. But you were very busy, so no worries, no worries. We will grab this one. We're gonna go like this. There we go. We are gonna end this stream and start the stationeers as a separate one though, just because Twitch, the way Twitch likes it sometimes. And we're just gonna try and fix this up a little bit. Oh shoot, no. Let's see, how should we insert there, bring you, no. You really don't want to cooperate. Okay. Try. Yeah, there's too much overlap there. Just a little too much overlap of how some of these little points are actually affecting things. And we're gonna come down here and we'll go like this, and we're gonna bring this curve out to there, and that makes things a lot nicer in a couple of places. And this can go there, and then we're gonna take this one and go kind of like this, and then hopefully that didn't screw up the whole line. Doesn't look like it did. Just push this back a little bit. Push this in a little bit. Pull that over. Great. Bring this over. And then this curve needs to, that'll be fine like that. That works. Do you want to bring this in just a bit more? And this can come up a little bit, and so can this. Just to kind of give a nice little cut to it. And then this needs to get extended out to probably there. And then we can take a look again at our visualization. And then we'll come down into our bend and feather noise. Yeah, see, now we've got a little bit of a gap up here. So what we'll do is we'll take this curve right there, and we want to bring it over just a little bit. Just to almost meet it. That's a bit better of a shape going on. I do kind of like it a bit better, but we're gonna have to see about trying to extend it down further, because I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, so you can see like we got this to kind of meet up a bit better, but it still doesn't look right. So let's take this curve and we're gonna bring it to there. And we may have to go back to our regular curve here and just fix it and then rebuild it. You can see at the bottom there, it's trying to load. Yeah, see, that's a little bit nicer. And then we're gonna come back to our just curve because it's easier to work in to a degree. And we're gonna bring it to here. We're gonna bring this one to here. And then we'll come back to the feather visualize. Well, we're gonna try the template first. Go to the template, see what the template looks like, go from there. Oh my goodness. So, need to look at a sample here. Let's look at the top. Okay, so the top, we need to come back to here. So we're gonna try something a little different. Gonna try it like this. Because I haven't tried it like this before. Whoops. Haven't tried it quite that far up, but I feel like the times that I have tried it that far up, it didn't go very well. So we'll give this a try. Okay, that does look good. Okay, great. Fantastic. So now that that's done, we're going to come to our feather noise and feather clump here. And I have a feeling what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do some more barbs and we're gonna have to do some funky play work with them to try and get some of these to work a bit better. So what we'll do is we'll go, are we on? Yeah, okay. We're going to grab this one. We are not in edit, we are in the curve tool, good. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're gonna do a curve. Nope. Oh, please don't die. Yes, I know, I know. I know. Ugh. Just let me save, please let me save. Don't crash. Aha! Great. Bezier curve, yes. Yes. Great. Oh no. Okay. Good. There we go. So you have to do kind of this manual thing where you're gonna almost individually make some of these cuts into your feather if you want them to clump a little bit. But you always need to be careful and kind of use what's there. And the reason you need to use what's there and be careful is the way you texture these is not traditional at all. If you know traditional texturing techniques. Basically, we UV off a sheet instead of UVing off of like a full texture pack. And it's kind of interesting how it works. And just because of that, you end up having to be careful how you do your cuts. Otherwise, you'll end up with some weird coloring and whatnot kind of coming through sometimes. Here we go. There we go. So with all of those extra ones, we should have a nice little kind of different clumping action happening. And we should be splitting things a little bit here. Yeah, so you can see now like we're starting to get this kind of clumping action going, and this like where the barbs are actually flowing is different now. Oh, we're still cooking, my bad. And so this is a lot more time than I put into a lot of this kind of stuff, because we're going for like a really nice in-depth one here this time. Oh my goodness, we're still cooking. Yeah, so feathers are very heavy. This is why I have ridiculous amounts of RAM. The only other people I know with the kind of RAM that I have, like the amount of RAM I have, are other visual effects artists that do a ton of simulation stuff. Otherwise, I don't know anyone who does. Yeah, see, we're still cooking here. My goodness. Yeah. Cooking. Basically, once this is done cooking, we're gonna go ahead and save it, and we're probably gonna call this feather done for now. And then what we'll do is go ahead and end this stream and set up for our Stationeers stream for this afternoon. There we go. Yeah, so you can see we now have like some nice slices and some weirdness going on where like the different barbs are starting to overlap each other, and we're getting a nice wave. And like in some spots they're starting to kind of coalesce and come apart. And other places they're doing this really nice clumping action. So we're gonna have to do some more playing around with a couple different things, but it's definitely getting there. And what we'll do is we'll drop this back down to something like 100, and you can really see like, okay, now we're having issues with some fold over here and there. We're gonna have to fix some things, and that's totally normal with feathers. But we're gonna go ahead, save this, we're gonna close it, and we're gonna set up for Stationeers. So I do hope you come back and join me in a couple of minutes for that.